My condition is Treacher-Collins. It's something that I was born with. I wasn't born with any cheekbones, so that's why my eyes appear the way they do. I wasn't born with all the parts of my ear, so I've got I call them my little Bart Simpson ears. It's also affected my jaw, so my jaw's a little receded. My adoption report says that Jonathan Lancaster was born on the 31st of the 10th, 1984. Both parents were horrified by the child's appearance. Both parents felt no maternal bond. Both parents left the hospital 36 hours later, leaving the child behind. And those words, it's something that's obviously stuck with me. And when I had angrier periods in my life, I focused on those words a lot, and they cut deep. At the age of 5, on the 18th of May 1990, I was adopted by an incredible woman called Jean. She never shied away from a conversation, even the difficult ones about my face and my birth parents. And she just gave me this incredible foundation, this incredible love for me to live. I was totally unaware how cruel people could be. I started noticing people, groups of people, one would see me and they would second look me, and then they would nudge their friends, the people that they were with. They would point, they all would look, some would laugh, some would just stare. The kids would always pull their eyes down. And that's something that I often thought about. And so I started to look in the mirror as a child, and I always used to push my eyes up to try and make it look like everybody else's. And as I pushed my eyes up in the mirror, I thought that was the answer to everything. Girls would ask me out as a dare or as a joke. And I never experienced any form of dating, any sort of relationship that snowballed into thoughts of, I'm never going to be intimate with anybody, I'm never going to have a family, I'm never going to experience love because I look like this. If I had a face like yours, if I had eyes like yours, I'd be happy. By the time I was a teenager, I hated my face, and I didn't want a surgery to improve my face. I wanted the surgery to have a new face. We live in a world obsessed with image and obsessed with looks, and for somebody growing up with Treacher-Collins, somebody growing up with a facial difference, I felt like I didn't fit in, and I had to go above and beyond to make friendships. And then 16, 17, 18, I discovered alcohol. So me and my friends would drink, and I would drink excessively, and again, just do anything to entertain them, always at the expense of my own well-being, my own health. And at that point in my life, I had no goals, no ambition, very much hiding away at home. I started to think that I didn't belong in this world. And when I had those thoughts, I never thought about, I'm going to take my own life, but I wanted to be in a car accident. I wanted to, as horrible as it sounds, I wanted an illness to take me out of this life. And even saying that, I kind of feel guilty. I did have incredible friends, and one of my friends got me a job working in a bar. My first night at work, it must have lasted an hour. I heard everybody talking, I heard everybody laughing, and instead of serving people, I started to hide away, got a taxi and went home. My friend pushed it and made me go back, and I did. And then a girl called Beth started working in the bar, and I got butterflies every time I saw Beth. She loved Morrissey, Radiohead, She wore skinny jeans and a beret, a big red plastic heart. She did art and dance, and I just thought she was the coolest person ever to walk the earth, and I properly fancied the pants off Beth. One night she came up to me and she was like, "Jono, do you fancy going out for a drink sometime?" And so I just casually was like, "Yeah, if we're all going out for a drink, you should join us." And she was like, "No, just me and you." And in that moment, I proper wanted to play it cool, but I was like so giddy and so excited. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm free tomorrow. In fact, I'm free Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When do you want to make this happen?" And she was just like, "Let's hang out tomorrow." Every thought was just running through my head. You know, does she want to ask one of my friends out? Am I the way in? You know, is it just a friendship thing? Is she even going to turn up? Why? I questioned her motives, but she did. She turned up, and it was great. I was like, this is the best day ever. And then all of a sudden, Beth went quiet, and she puts down a glass of wine, and she started to get uncomfortable. And when people get uncomfortable with their words around me, I know that they're going to ask me something about my face or my appearance. Straight away, I'm thinking, oh, this isn't a date. This isn't cool. This isn't sexy. I've got this wrong. So I'm thinking it's my time to go. It's my time to leave. And Beth's just looking at me, and she sees me looking at the floor, and she's trying to get eye contact with me. And she's like, "Jono, I find myself staring at you all the time." And again, I hate being stared at, and I found that quite insulting in that moment. And she's like, "I find myself staring at you all the time." And she leans in and she kisses me, and she comes back and she's like, "I just love your face, innit?" And she was just so casual about it. And we've often spoken about that moment since. But to me, that moment, as casual as it was for her, I went from feeling ugly to thinking I'm like the sexiest guy in the world. I'm like David Beckham, Brad Pitt, all rolled into one. This was huge for me. We were in a relationship for a few months. I had a confidence, I had a swagger about myself. And then Beth was always full of dreams and full of goals. And she was like, "No, I can't do this anymore. I want to go traveling around Europe." And I was like, "Oh, right." And it crushed me. But as heartbroken as I was, I just had this admiration that somebody was able to just say, "This is what I want to do for me." It was my first healthy relationship. I didn't need sex to make me happy. I didn't need alcohol to make me happy. I didn't need a filter on my phone to make me happy. I didn't need to push my eyes up to make me happy. It was really looking at who I was as a whole and discovering things that I loved about myself.
Your birth parents, did you ever try and make contact with them again?
I always wanted to ask them questions. I always wanted to know why. There were so many things I wanted to say and share with them. And then in my darkest days, I wanted to hurt them as much as I was hurting too. So when I'm 24, 25, I'd reached the point where I wanted to reach out to my birth parents. I want to let them know that I'm okay, and if they're open to meet me, then that would be incredible. So we shared that with them through a letter. A week or so later, we got a letter back, very clear regarding this subject. We do not wish any contact. Further attempts will be ignored. They'd both signed it, and that was it. You know, I cried and I felt rejected all over again. But again, thinking about my birth parents, you know, they made that decision all them years ago, and they've decided to stick by that. They've done what they felt was best for them, and I respect that. And at the end of the day, I will always come back to those two human beings gave me life, and for that I am forever grateful. Every milestone that I have in life, I tend to think about them. But I guess the ultimate things I want to share with my birth parents is that I am happy and I'm okay and I'm healthy, and I hope you are too.
And what's the future for you?
I used to think that my face would prevent me from finding work, would prevent me from finding friendships and love, but it's not about my face. That wouldn't prevent me from finding any of those things. I'm learning more things that I love about myself, and as I've done that, more opportunities have opened and presented themselves to me. I've discovered more relationships, friendships. I've made truer, deeper connections. And then now in my 30s, we don't have any conversations about surgeries on my face, because I love my face and I don't want to change it at all.